right place at the right time, blasting out of the East Coast like a ray screaming across the land and into your town and into your home, slamming into your Mac like a supercharged DeLorean running on plutonium. Greetings from an undisclosed location. This is Logic Pro Hacks.
Hey, this is Brian from Logic Pro Hacks. How's it going? I am selling a E-Mu Procussion. Here it is right here. Procussion. This unit is very rare. This is a quality gem, if you ever find one. The samples on this thing is top notch. You could plug this thing into any Midi device. What we're going to do today is we're going to hook this guy up, and I'm going to do a little show and tell. So that's the screen. So we master. Alright, so here's the back. You can see you got MIDI in, MIDI out through. You got a right and left for sub 2, a right and left for sub 1, and a mono right and left for stereo. And then you got an MG inscribed in there for Mega God. So I guess whoever had this thing was a Mega God. Okay, so here's the bottom of the unit. You can take a look. It is an E-Mu Systems, and it's a model 9020. So it gives you all the specs. And so it's in really good shape for how old it is, for the age of it. Here's the top. Really nice. There's some scuff marks over in here. I think it's just really, there was like a sticker there or something like that. I'm gonna try to get some alcohol and clean that up, but you can see that there's a couple scratches down in the corner here, but that's about it. This unit looks like it was in the rack. It is rack mountable, so there you go. So let's go ahead and let's hook this bad boy up and see what it can do. All right, let's go back to the computer. Okay, I'm back now. I wanted to show you that I have it kind of set up, staged to do some sampling with, and I want to show you how I'm going to hook this bad boy up. So the first thing I'm going to do is I want to show you this little adapter cable that I got off of Amazon, or actually I may have gotten off eBay, but it's a HOSA adapter, and it says tip ring, and you can see you got a right and you got a left, and these are 1/4 inch jacks. And on this right here, you can see this is for a 1/8 stereo. So that's really nice. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug this into the stereo out, and then I'm going to take just your typical, headphone extender cable. Here's a good picture of it. 1/8 on each side. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go from that adapter cable and go onto the back of this messy Mac right here. There's a 1/8 stereo line in. Here's a better picture of it. It's right there. That one, that's your line in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use that line in, and I'll show you how to hook up that line in so that you can use it in something like Logic Pro. Hey, I also want to show you that there's also another HOSA cable that you can get. This one is, I believe this is like an 8-foot or 6-foot cable. And you can see it's pretty much the same thing as the other cable, but you won't need an adapter or an extension cable. See how this, you got a 1/8 here, and then you got 2 4-inch. You can use a cable like that. And this one would probably be the better cable to use because you don't have any possible interference with extra connections. Yeah, so it's up to you if you're really anal. So I'm probably going to change it up with this cable here. But I just wanted to let you know there's multiple options in getting this thing connected. Well, probably use that one since I don't have to use 2 cables. I want to go over a little bit of how I have everything hooked up. The first thing is you see this longer cable right here. This is coming from the in port, or coming from the out port right here, and you can see it says Radio Shack on it, and it's going out and it's going to the in port of the E-Mu. This one right here, which says in, that is being fed into the out port of the E-Mu. So it's out to in, out to in. So it's kind of like you make a circle for the MIDI. Always think of a circle. In to out, out to in. kind of like plus, minus, minus, plus. All right, so that's being hooked up, and feel free to rewind the video if you get confused or something like that, and just play it back. Again, it's in to out, out to in. Very simple. This right here, don't pay attention to this. This is actually going, this is my left-right audio that's basically being fed into my monitors. So this is the audio box, PreSonus. Now this right here is the audio signal coming out of the E-Mu that I was talking about earlier, using this special cable I got off of Amazon or eBay, I believe, and it's made by Hosa, and you can see it says tip and ring for the red and tip for the left stereo, and then it goes into a 1/8 jack stereo, which is a line input on the Mac, which is right here. Let's go ahead and hook this thing into Logic and see how it sounds. Alright, so now we're in the front and everything's all turned on and hooked up, and I wanted to just kind of give you just a bird's eye view of what it looks like in the front, and I want to show you some of the settings in here. You have a couple buttons here. You have a master, edit, enter button, a cursor, and then a data scroll bar, and then you have a volume button. So what this does, so if you hit master, this gives you in the main menu edit button, and then what you do is you just take your data scroll thing and you just kind of go through here. But if we can go back to the beginning, so the very beginning you have master tune, and then you have transpose, submix outputs, where you can control, remember those sub outputs, you got 2 stereo sub outputs plus the main stereo. Then you have the MIDI mode, right now it's set to poly, global velocity curve, global tempo, you can hook up to MIDI clocks, zone maps, user zone maps, envelope mode, MIDI enable, I have it set for channel 01, program change, MIDI mode change, controller, and then you have controller ABC, you know, just tons of things, foot switch, MIDI program, auto select, remote edit, send MIDI data, viewing angle. So we hit the cursor button, and then we can see that dims it out. So right now it's set to max. The 8 is max. There we go. Viewing angle. Alright, so in order to edit something, you just gotta hit the cursor button, which is over here, and then hit the data button to change the values. And then it'll automatically save it. You don't have to hit, I believe if you hit enter, oh, that was edit, sorry. Enter to save. Then we just go ahead and hit master again to get out. So right now I am in this kit called 042 Heaviosity. I really like the kit, but it's kind of like a cinematic kit, and I really like it. It's really different from the normal. Okay, so we are back in Logic. I have Logic open, just opened up a new session. And before we even get started into Logic, I want to bring over the MIDI Studio window. And we all know that we can find this MIDI Studio window in the Utilities folder. It's the keyboard icon in the Utilities folder, and that Utilities folder is inside the Applications. I have many videos that deal on how to find that and how to configure it. This is more about how to play with the E-Mu Procussion and how to set it up. So we have MIDI Studio open. If this window does not show, you just go up to your menu bar up at the top and you go to Window, Show MIDI Window. And it'll open up. Now I have various synths that I've set up before, and you can see them in here. And the main one is this one right here. I had to set it up. I had to hit this one that's called Add Device. And what you do is you just double click on that. I'll show you how I have mine set up. That'll be just easier. The device name, this does not really matter. You can name it anything you want, but I'm kind of specific. The model, I kind of just named it manufacturer. The channels, I just leave as default. The ports, okay. You can actually rename that from port 1 to, we can call it E-Mu Procussion. Something like that. Because the reason why that's important when you do that is when you go in your MIDI environment, if you go in here and then click some ports, look at this right here, audio, USB aux, all the different ones. So it would actually show up in here, whatever you named it. So that's why it's important to name that. So let's go back to the MIDI window. We can close that out. You need that. The MIDI in and out, this is, if your device had 2 MIDI outs and 2 MIDI ins, you would put 2 here and 2 there. That's all. It describes the physical MIDI ports on the actual hardware. There's a way that you can import new icons in there, but that's for another day. If you have a specific question on how to do that, I will make a video for you. Just if you do, comment below and say, hey, how do you do that? I will make a video to show how to do that. So next thing, audio device. I only have 2 inputs on my audio box, my PreSonus audio box. And right now it's using my mic, which I'm talking into right now. So the question is all right, well then how do I get a stereo input? And it's actually kind of easy. So when I told you earlier that I was using that special adapter cable I got off of Amazon, the 1/4 stereo jacks to a 1/8 stereo, and I plugged that into that little input on the actual Mac itself. I'm using the line input. So that's what I'm using for this audio. So what I did here is you just open up you go into preferences and you open up your audio preferences. And so right now I have it set to Sunflower, so disregard that because that's the way I'm recording. I'm separating tracks. I actually got a video about that. But anyways, the input device, I actually have it set to built-in line input. So that way I can actually hear the input from the actual device. You could also change it to an aggregate channel if you wanted to have more than one input. But right now this is good for me. So that was the most important thing. And so how I did this is you just go, and here you go, external MIDI, and it'll come up because it's already named in the thing, percussion, EMU. And so we pick that, and it'll come up and it'll make a new MIDI channel, which it did just right here. And you just want to make sure this says channel 1 and this says that right there. Next thing I did is I created an audio channel. The input was the stereo 1 and 2. Output is 1 and 2. I made sure this is checked, input monitoring. And I created my audio channel. Now you can go into open up a mixer window and you can go in here and I believe you can do create new auxiliary channel strip. You can actually create an audio send that way. The reason why I don't do it that way is because when you actually record, it just seems like it works better for me because what I do is I actually record in the parts as I'm editing or as I'm working on a project. And this is my own personal preference. I just like to do it this way. I find it easier. I can assign automation to this track, this audio track, and it's just easier for me. And also I can send it out to an auxiliary. Whereas if it's on an auxiliary channel, you can't really, well, you probably could send it to another auxiliary channel, but anyways. So moving on. Let's see here how this thing sounds like. Okay, so I have it set that thing, and we'll go ahead and hit the C chord. And that is the drum. We're just going to move it to the demo. All right, so we got this thing on, and we're going to go ahead and move it to the demo. So if you hit master, and then go to this data wheel, jog wheel, and turn it, I think it's at the very end, it says demo sequence, and then I believe if we just hit cursor to get it down, okay, so as soon as we hit the cursor button, it highlights the start, and then you see the enter button starting to flash, so it's telling us to hit the enter button, so let's go ahead and hit the enter button. Oh, there it goes. That sounds kind of cool. That's nice. All right, so we heard the demo, and that's a really nice demo. Some of the sounds in there were pretty cool. So you can imagine some of the sounds that you can get out of this little unit. Let's look up the facts on this thing and see what it's about. Yeah, so this thing is made in the early 90s, 1991 to be exact. It's a 32-voice multi-timbral sample-based synthesizer with 4 megabytes of 16-bit percussion samples, selected from an Emulator III sound library and stored in ROM. There are hundreds of drums, percussions, mallets, vibes, etc., and they are fully editable. The sounds vary from an acoustic to electronic, and many sounds have stereo effects. Sounds can be combined, layered, with up to 4 samples mixed into one drum sound, or with any selection of digital waveforms stored in a ROM. Each instrument also has many individual attributes such as tuning, volume, pan, etc. The sounds are arranged into 128 drum kits, 64 which are user-programmable. Each kit can have up to 24 drum samples assigned to it. In each kit, individual sounds can be mapped across the keyboard or set of drum pads. Up to 24 zones may be assigned per kit. Another feature is stacks, which can be made of up to 4 percussion instruments. The instruments in the stack can be modulated in many ways or switched on and off depending on various parameters such as velocity or hi-hat pedal position, etc. A very complete and capable drum and percussion kit sound module of the same as a Alesis D4 and a DM5. It has been used by the bands Front 242 and cam fdm. Okay, so I opened up another project and I wanted to show you what I sampled off of this E-Mu. And in here you could see I have all these different kicks. Holy crap, that was loud. I'll have to edit that down. All these different kicks, snares, reverse snares, all this came from the E-Mu. However, I did a little trick. There's a little thing that you can do. I actually ran it through a tape cassette, an old tape cassette recorder. It just really gives some really gritty distortion to it. And so I'll go ahead and we'll just go ahead and just play this little part for you. It's all drums. I got it all hooked up. So let's go ahead and just mute these guys. Mute these guys because I just want you to hear the drums and what came from this E-Mu. Let's go ahead and just start it right here. Let's kind of get different tempo changes. So let's have some fun. All right, here we go. Yeah, that was so much fun. I mean, I'm so amped up now after hearing that. Anyhow, I wanted to, yeah, I didn't know it was going to be that fast too, but yeah, it's a metal track I was working on. This part right here is from the Maple kit that Logic provides, which is nice. But the kick, this part right here, let's open this guy up. You can see here, this was sampled from the E-Mu. So I just wanted to, give that to you. It's actually originally an old track. Faded Shadows, Heavy Judgment. If you look it up, you'll find a YouTube channel, Faded Shadows Music. And the name of it is called Heavy Judgment. There's an older one, but this is, I'm actually redoing it a little bit. And yeah, it's pretty intense. So eventually I might release this later on, but as a template or something, but I don't know. All these things to do in no time. I'll show you how I did the resampling through a old cassette drive because that's pretty killer. I'll do that another day. But yeah, it really amps up your kicks, as you heard. Again, I want to be selling this thing. They retail around anywhere between $250 to $300. Last time I checked. Maybe less. Depends on what condition it is. This one's a really good condition and it's really nice. I think, don't take me on this, but I think you can actually take the unit and resample it and actually use those samples and resell them. So if you're into things like that, I believe you can do that with this. Now, there might be some caveats to that because I'm trying to read up on it because I actually want to do that. Because you go on eBay and you see people selling crap like this all the time. And you're like, how do they get around, the copyright issues? It's an interesting question. So if you have any ideas, suggestions, or comments, please comment. So what I'm going to do now is we're just going to go ahead and just build a quick drum set. So let's just go into the Apple Loop library here. If you can find it. There it is. Do all drums. And hit this thing so I can find all the green ones. So that gives me all the Midi data. And what we could do, let's turn this down here. We can find something that will be kind of cinematic to fit that cinematic thing that I found. Is this one. No, that's not going to work. All right, so I think this one will work. So let's go ahead and just import this one in real quick. And I'll show you how I kind of do things with this Midi. And I take it and I adapt it to use what I want it to use it with. Let's go ahead and just cut this. Get that off. And then put it on the Midi up here. Oops. Yeah, okay, there we go. And then let's just double click here to open up. Get a good view. What's going on? So the C1, see what that sounds like. Let's turn this down so it'll blow you away here. Uh-oh, not getting any volume. It's not, well, it's sending MIDI. So, oh, it's on C1, C-1. So what we want to do is we want to move this whole thing up to C1 because that's where the kick is going to be. So hold the Alt and Shift key, bring it up 1 full octave or 2. There we go. All right, so we got the main kick. Let's see what this one is. It's like a snare. That doesn't do anything. It's on a sharp. That's another thing with this EMU. Sometimes they just only hit the white keys. Yeah, that's good. All right, so I kind of just quickly edited and just moved some of these things around a little bit, something like that, and we'll see what it sounds like. All right, kind of sucks, but you kind of get the drift. I'm able to pretty much take any MIDI drum data and edit the way I want it to. You know, let's go ahead and just try something else. Let's see if we can variant drums. Let's see what that sounds like. Now, oh, here we go. Orchestra kit. There we go. Yeah, this one will work right here. So go ahead and just turn this one in here. Make this big long MIDI thing. I'll just delete that one. That one was really bad. So then let's go ahead and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make a copy of it. You just hit Alt and drag it up. So that way I have a point of reference. So what we got down here? So that's the C0 is going to be our main kick. So then let's go ahead and undo this. So just bring it up. There we go. Be our main kick. That's good enough. Put that one right there. And then the next one was these. It's like another kind of weird sounding drum. Can't really tell. I probably have to open up EXS, see what it is, but just see if my ears can do me good tonight. It's definitely not going to be that. Let's see if we can find something that's... Oh, that sounded cool. Whatever that was. It's like a reverse cymbal. Huh. There's no more, so let's leave it right there. That's not the type of snare we're looking for, but there we go. Let's just leave it on that one. All right, and then this one is like another type of snare, but it's like a kind of like a medley snare. All right, let's see if we can find a medley snare for this one. A medley snare. sure we're going to be able to find one, but... Alright, we'll just leave it on that one right there. It's kind of like a half-open hat or something. And this one right here, it's like a tom. So let's see if we can find a tom. Oh, that's good. That's a good tom. It's a heavy tom. Alright, and then what's next? That's a big crash. Oh, I've got this one right here. Oh, forgot about this one. Oh, that's a big crash. Let's see if we can... That one right there. Crashes are up here somewhere. There we go. That's it. That kind of matches a little bit. Alright, and then let's go ahead and figure out what this one is. Long cymbals. Alright, so let's see if we can find something that will match that guy. Let's leave it on that for now. And then this guy is like a short crash. So let's go back up and take this guy and see if we can find a short crash. That's a short crash. That's like an airburst or something, but heck, we'll just leave it. And then this one right here is another big crash or cymbal. We'll leave it there. Alright, we'll leave it there. And then let's put this guy up here. There we go. Alright, so we kind of just move things around real quick and to see if we can make it fit our EMU. And I'm using the Heaviosity kit from the EMU sampler or EMU Procussion module. And let's go ahead and play this bad boy and see what it sounds like. I'm very curious. See what we've got. All right, here we go. Oh, that sounds good. That sounded really good. I like that. I like it a lot. Let's play it again. Nice. 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 Very good. All right. I'm happy with that. I wanted to show you that. Also, let me show you one more thing before I forget. In the MIDI window here, you can see that I have the MIDI settings hooked up to my audio box. Now, you also notice that I am playing, when I hit the keys, I'm actually playing from this USB Axiom 49, which is plugged in through my USB. So what's happening is my USB comes in and triggers this MIDI right here, this MIDI channel 1, because it's also configured for MIDI channel 1. And that percussion module is looking for signals on MIDI channel 1. So just kind of keep that in mind that you can do it that way, because I don't really have to stick a cable in here. It's the USB cable is kind of like going in here and sending MIDI signals. So I just want to let you know that. So cool. We got everything, and I decided I'm going to go ahead and play that one little piece as kind of like an outro piece. There we go. Oh, this is so much fun. All right, guys. Enjoy.